Hello and welcome to One Take. I'm Dale Kurschner. One Take is a brief discussion with one CEO providing his or her take on how best to deal with the most pressing business and economic issues of the day. It's also called One Take because this is one recorded live continuous dialogue with no edits. One Take is brought to you today by the Platinum Group, which for nearly 40 years has specialized in helping business leaders navigate through challenging times, ranging from selling their business, raising capital and refinancing, to surviving tough legal or HR, financial, or other setbacks, and also crisis situations in general. Today, I'm pleased to welcome to One Take Dave Goodwin, chair of Reviva, which stands for Revive Engines for Long Life. Dave has been at that company, had been at the company for nearly 49 years. His son is now running it, Josh, and it's based up in North Minneapolis. It specializes in rebuilding and refurbishing diesel engines and gas engines. And about 3 or 4 years ago, it won a Family Business award from Twin Cities Business Magazine. Dave, welcome to One Take.
Hi, Dale.
So thanks for joining us today. I think that when it comes to what we want to talk about, I know that our viewers and listeners would like to know a little bit about your business in terms of, you have 250 employees, and roughly 70% of them have been born outside the United States. So you have a very diverse workforce, right?
That's correct.
Wow. And then tell us a little bit about just how have you guys been affected by the COVID-19 recession? How did the company have to adjust since March, and any lessons learned from that?
I think because of our population, it was very important that we spend a lot of time explaining to our employees the seriousness of what the pandemic was doing to the nation and specifically to our company. And most importantly to them, what were we going to do about it? And I think by getting that message out early and clear and consistent and regularly, we were able to have our employees feel that we were a company they wanted to stay with because they felt that we were a safe company to be with. And then we lost only a very few of our employees as a result of the entire experience.
Yeah, but Josh was communicating regularly, but was there any kind of style that you thought was particularly helpful in terms of retaining people as much as you were able to?
Our style did not change. Our culture is what it is, and we didn't feel we had to change. We've always been straight up with our employees. We've always been kept our employees informed, and we just continued on with that, maybe at an accelerated rate. So if people had concerns, they didn't feel like they couldn't come in and talk to our HR person, and we would take care of their specific needs. And those needs could have been simple things, not simple things, but they had a problem at home and they couldn't risk going home and passing it on maybe to an elderly mother or whatever. But we had to take all those things into account and try to respond to those individual needs.
Yep. And
that word,
go ahead.
That word got around. Don't worry, go up and talk to them. They're not going to fire you. If you got a concern, talk to them about it. Yep. And that was good.
And you also have a health clinic that you started about 4 years ago?
That was Josh's idea. And we had no idea, of course, of how important that would become. We now have a clinic that our employees can go and be tested. They can bring their family in for physicals to be tested. There's this whole COVID crisis. I would think every company would want to have a clinic like ours right now to be able to meet the needs of their employees without having to send them off to a hospital or send them off to an urgent care. We're able to take care of injuries, planned injuries, concerns with health, with the family, whatever, right there.
Yep. And Dave, that's at your Main Street headquarters location in North Minneapolis, correct?
And we share that facility with our other plant in North Minneapolis. We have our third plant in Oaks, North Dakota, that is not obviously able to use that, but they have their own facility up in the Oaks.
Okay. And about 250 employees. Has it been different to try to talk with them in different locations like South Dakota, what they're going through relative to what's been happening in Minneapolis?
That's always a problem. That's not a new problem. Trying to keep everyone informed is a problem that every company faces that has multiple locations. We're doing our best with it. I think we do a good job. We're never happy. We think we can do better trying to get the messages out clear and not have people misinterpret messages or try to read into them. And I think just being as honest and as straightforward as we can be is ultimately the only way to go.
Yeah. And how did COVID-19 affect Reviva in terms of sales and orders and backlogs?
It had probably, we were very fortunate. Our industry is a very basic industry. We're providing replacement engines for like UPS, which is our largest customer, and everyone knows UPS is very busy right now and they can't afford to have units down. And also to smaller contractors that are maybe have let some of their people go and they can't afford to have the equipment that they have left not working. And so our demand for our product has stayed pretty consistent. We're maybe plus or minus 10%, but not, it hasn't, we've been able to keep our production lines flowing at a rate that we feel we can make money at.
And then you furloughed people for a while because we didn't know what was happening with this, plus how to bring people back so that they were safe. I think that as you did that affect then how were you able to get your orders, delivered to people on time?
Well, we didn't really furlough them. That was a voluntary furlough. And we did say, though, after 2 weeks, we want you to come back. And that was when some came back, many came back, some didn't. But we didn't furlough the entire company. We kept running.
Yeah. But I thought you had quite a few working from home for a while, or was that just in the
Well, we still do, but obviously not production people, but people are involved in this administration, the engineering, the sales function, those functions that could be done at home. We encourage them to work out of home.
Okay. And from a broader perspective, what do you think business leaders and others should be thinking about right now when it comes to COVID-19?
Well, I'm not going to be suggesting what in the middle of this. There's plenty of advice on what people should be doing, but I think the conversations that I think need to start, and they could start now, is to talk about where we go post when this pandemic slows down. We can start to return to what some may think is normality. I think is going to be a different environment. I think we have to be talking about the kind of people and leadership that our companies have to develop to be successful in transforming their business through innovation, through the different ways they're going to have to change their business and still go forward. That's the essence of capitalism. And we better be very capitalistic in our thinking that we can do this, we can innovate, we can change. That's how our nation became great. That's how our companies will become great after COVID.
Sometimes I get the sense that people just think that's going to happen, that we've done it before. It's an organic thing. We're going to be fine. What do you think we need to make sure we cover so that does occur and that we do it in a way that other countries aren't doing it as well so that we stay competitive?
It's a very good question, Dale. Our nation was founded on doing things differently than the rest of the world have been doing for 10,000 years. And we have to look back at our history and say, what made our country great? And that's the things that we have to start to employ like we're a new country. And we have to encourage that kind of inventiveness, the entrepreneurship, the technology, the risk-taking that made our country what it is. And I don't think one of my concerns is that's not being taught very well in schools and in colleges and even MBA programs. I think that's going to come out of this, that we need to start to readdress what we learn about who we are, what made us great, make us proud. And then when we'll gain that leadership, that'll follow. If we're doing those things right, the world will see it.
So from an education standpoint, what do you think the top 2 or 3 things are that our education system should be focusing on more than it is currently?
I think it's being able to get your mission really embedded into your company so people really know what you're all about and what they can depend on. And it's not fancy stuff, it's basic stuff, but this is when you work for our company, here's what you can expect from us, and here's our promise to you. And then have very sharp people who understand the customer needs and are able to implement effectively without too much overhead getting things done quickly so that we get product out to the customers in an efficient manner.
And anything else from an education standpoint? You know, sometimes people talk about problem solving skills, there's soft skills, all sorts of things.
Well, I think along with entrepreneurship and when you're talking about idea generation and voice of customer, those things require some tremendous people who really learn to listen and not learn to talk. You know, we just need to really update our listening skills so we can hear from our employees who have ideas and from our customers who would like us to maybe change this or change that or get into something new. And if we have leadership that really values listening rather than telling people things, we will have successful companies.
You know, oftentimes I've heard in the last probably about 7 or 8 years, more and more about companies setting up their own schools, their own ways of doing knowledge transfer and their own ways of teaching. And some, you know, bigger companies like IBM and Mayo have their own universities. But how have you dealt with this running your company in terms of training your people to be able to do the things you need them to do and also making sure they understand your mission?
Well, one thing, just in terms of education, we've encouraged our top 3 executives in our company, running the company itself, have all gotten Carlson School MBAs. So from a pure education standpoint, that's very important. We also, Josh and I belong to YPO for many, many years. He's in YPO, and we use that really as a basis for learning about the whole purpose of YPO is make better presence through idea exchange. And by getting involved in the programs that YPO offers, we're getting a pretty top-notch, up-to-date information on what other companies are doing and what's successful, and to tell us when we're off base. And so I think that would be our biggest source for that.
Okay. Dave, is there anything else I should have asked you today that I didn't ask?
You did, as usual, Dale. Top-notch interview. Hope I met it in a way that my company would agree with.
Okay, well, thank you. And it's very nice seeing you again. I think you have a great company. It was fun getting to know it back when the Family Business Award was given out. And I hope people have a chance to go online and look for that story.
Yeah, we have some great videos online, and you can see things that are really kind of excite people. They just don't know those things are going on, and they're going on in the Twin Cities. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, yep.
Gearhead dream.
What's that?
It's a gearhead dream, our company.
Yeah, it is. Well, thanks, Dave. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
And want to thank our sponsor one more time, the Platinum Group, which for 40 years has helped.
Great.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I would say the Platinum Group has helped our company through a very successful transition to the 3rd generation leadership. And I thank the Platinum Group for all they did. It took 5 years. It wasn't a quick deal. It's a getting to know our company and getting to know the transition. And Steve Coleman in particular did a great job with our company. Is one of the reasons we're successful today.
Well, that's great. I didn't know that. I mean, I think I knew that there was some work that was done, but that's really great. And that's a better testimony about the Platinum Group than I was just going to read. So that's much better. But that's great to know too. So thanks again, Dave. I look forward to talking again in the future. I hope everything continues to go well with you, Josh, your family, and your employees.
Thank you, Dale.
And
thank you.
Oh, thanks. And I want to thank everybody else to also just to say thank you for tuning in today. And we'll see you again next time on One Take.